Hey there, you're listening to the GROUPEX podcast with Tony Zanato. Today I'm talking with Jessie Anderson, owner of Fernwood Fitness in Belconnen. We chat about how Jessie got into fitness, her decision to purchase a gym, the importance of onboarding members, virtual fitness and how it attracts members, the purchase of her second Fernwood club, and all things GROUPEX. Thank you for joining me on this. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on board.
Not a problem. It's always good to chat. So
Yeah. So just tell me your background. Where did you start in the fitness industry, and when did your fitness industry journey begin?
I started, so when I had my son, Aiden, I don't know if you've met him, I was 19 and I've always had a gym membership like every teenage girl, but hardly used it ever.
Yep.
And then after Aiden, I put on about, that post baby, about 12 kilos, maybe jumped up to a size 14.
Yep.
And then a whole year later, because I remember it was his first birthday and we took some photos, and back in the days, you used to print photos and they went in a photo album.
Yep.
And it took like a month for you to put it all together. So anyway, after a month after he turned 1, I was going through all these photos and I'm like, oh, gee, this person looks very familiar, but gee, she's a bit fat. And I was literally like, that was me. Yep. Right. Yep. So I'm like, okay, right, I'm going to the gym now, and it's time to, do something about it. So look, my love for fitness, that's when it started. So I was a member at Fernwood in Belconnen back then.
Yep.
And my food coach back then taught me. I knew, like many young girls, I knew nothing about healthy eating or portion control or any of that. And then really found my love, lost all my baby weight as well, dropped down to a size 6'8", and sort of continued on that journey, and always maintained a really healthy weight, even after a full-time job and raising a family. And then in about, I think 2006 is when I thought, you know what, it'd be so good because I loved the brand so much. It does wonders for young girls, Fernwood. It really does. And, I'd love to look into owning one. Obviously, we were still probably about, really young, probably 22, 23, both Chad and I. So we contacted head office. They sent us a video going, you're going to need to tick all these boxes. But back then, I sort of made a decision that this is what I want to do with my life. And I was an accountant back then.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, I was an accountant. And I thought, to do this, though, I need to really start from the very bottom. So let's park that idea for now. But when the time is right, I will do it. So, in 2010, the time was right. I was ready to make a career change. And I was actually the fittest I had been ever at that time, around that time.
Well done.
Yeah, and had done a lot of personal training. So I was really passionate about it. And I thought, you know what, the time has come to stop paper shuffling, number crunching, and get in there. So I did my cert 3 and 4. I was actually a member at Fernwood in Melbourne back then. And went from a member to a member motivator, personal trainer, food coach, second in charge of the club, and all that stuff. And there was, it's not an easy profession. Obviously, a lot of people entering the industry go, it's easy, I'll just get it done, it's glamorous. Yes, it is very satisfying, but at the same time, it's the good PTs, they have earned their place in the industry, right?
Yes, so true.
And it was just that. So I'm more of a personal training background than group fit up until I bought my club. And so in 2013, so Chad had moved up to Canberra in 2012, I think. So 2014, actually, then we were expecting Sophia, and we then made the decision to move to, I had to move up to Canberra. And then I started working at Fernwood Gungahlin as a receptionist, because, I knew that I just needed to start somewhere. And while I was pregnant, that was a great position, weekend shifts, nice and cruisy, sort of learning the business, because I didn't have any exposure to the administration side of running a gym. So I learned all that at reception. And by the time Sophia was born and I went back from mat leave, the club was up for sale, and I just put my foot forward, and that was it.
Brilliant. Well done.
Yep. And also, I don't know if you've heard, I've just bought Canberra City as well.
No, I hadn't heard that. Congratulations. That's
Thank
great.
you. I haven't taken over yet.
Yep.
Official takeover is the 1st of July.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. That's so nice to hear.
Yeah. So no plans of bowing out just yet.
Yeah, no, no, not if you're doing that. That's fantastic. I'm really proud of you. Awesome work.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's when you were doing reception work and working at the club in Gungahlin before you owned it.
Yeah.
Who was the owner back then? Was that Kelly?
Kelly, yeah.
Kelly, it was Kelly. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. The reason I ask is I ask everyone that I'm chatting to, I'm asking because it's even though yes, I know you in a certain way, I don't know your entire background. So for me, it's interesting to understand where people come from. I mean, I was in telecommunications myself for about 12 years prior to jumping into this as well, and I think everyone has that story on where they were a bit overweight or realized they needed to do something, got in there and then found that it's almost like an addiction when you find you love what it is. You love that endorphin high and that rush and really get something out of it and want to make something of it. And it's
like
great.
if I wasn't feeling that, that the DOMs on a regular basis, I used to feel guilty.
Yeah.
I used to feel like something's missing. And not even that. Look, what really got me into it was I found a community and a place where there were like-minded people, and that sense of belonging. And I think for young girls, it's so important that they do something that's good for them. And because I had a bit of anxiety and then back then, and then I picked up running, and I found that every time I felt anxious, I would go for a run, and I could channel my frustrations and anxiety in such a positive manner. And I think it had more to do with that mental health and that sense of belonging than, because we moved to Melbourne when Aiden was only 15 months old from Canberra, and I knew no one. I was a young girl in 20, 21, knew nobody, and just finding that place where people knew you. And so it had a lot to do with that. And then obviously then became, wouldn't use the word gym junkie, but a regular gym lover. And then took up outside running and just took pride in my appearance after that. But it was always that mental health that was the first driver into the whole, this is what I want to do with my life.
What do you think it is that you mentioned the community feel that Fernwood has? What do you think? Can you pinpoint exactly what it is that creates that, or how that's created within the club?
Look, to me, I think it's a few things. Obviously, I can only speak from my experience and how I run my club. But even when I was a member, when you walk in, you're welcomed, with open arms. And because I've been to other gyms as well. And sometimes it's very intimidating as a young person who's not feeling the best about themselves. It's a bit intimidating, and just having someone to sort of go, you're fine, it's fine. That's that first step, that just sort of, you are part of us, and this is who we are. And this is what we can do for you. And especially with Fernwood, because we've got those steps to the induction step as someone joins the club, giving them the equipment induction, the goal setting sessions, giving them some free sessions as well. And we push hard for our members to either do a Fit 30, which is our small group training sessions, or a group fitness, a few group fitness classes, or we run like beginner circuits as well that teaches them those simple moves, like how to do a squat properly, and how to do a lunge properly, how to do a bench press properly, so that when you walk into a pump class, when the instructor is saying, okay, we're moving on to this track, what they're talking about. So
what to expect.
And so it's beautiful to see the young girls coming in and finding themselves. And now, like, even when I train my new staff, it's always about customer service. So like making them feel welcome, and that we always make sure the little things, like when members come in, we always have a smile on our face. We have the time, and that's what I found. Like whenever I had a problem, someone had the time on the day to sit down and talk to me. right?
Yep.
It could be I've lost motivation. I haven't been in for 3 months. Okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I'm scared. Okay, you know what? I will come in and do a class with you.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've been to a lot of different gyms all over the country, but I've always come back to Fernwood. Always. And, you know, like, you know me, I'm not scared of running next to a bloke by any means. I'm not. I'll be happy to do my bicep curl with 5 kilos while the bloke next to me is doing 20, and that doesn't worry me. But I've always been a Fernwood member. I've always, you know, any other time that I hadn't was because the area I was living in didn't have Fernwood. So that's been home to me for that reason, that there's always someone that cares, that, you know, will drop everything if you needed it. And, you know, in this day and age, let's face it, that's not easy to come by.
Yeah, no, it's so true. So true. I think that whole onboarding process from the time someone walks in the club to they're doing their first class or even, you know, after the first month or so they've been there, and having those touch points is vital. Without that, you've lost your member. You know, that's just like, okay. And it's so many clubs that I've worked at and been in or worked with over the last 18 odd years. It's interesting to see the clubs that don't do it, but then also interesting to see the clubs that do it and do it well. And you can notice it. You can sense that as soon as you walk into that club, whether there's a sense of community or not. And I'll be honest with that, every club says it, but not many do it. Yeah, I know we've got an onboarding process. Yeah, sure. Everyone's got one. And if you don't have one, it's ridiculous. But it's implementing and making sure that it is adhered to is the way that you're actually going to retain that member for a long period of time. And especially with group fitness, as you know as well, getting them into group fitness is key.
That's exactly right.
It's
and you know, isn't that the most common equation in the industry, that engaged members will not cancel?
Exactly.
Keep them engaged. How hard is it?
Yeah, you know, but I still laugh at the clubs that say, "Oh yeah, but you know, we need to. It's all about membership consultants. We need to get more membership consultants on board. You know, we've got to get them in." Well, hang on a second. If you actually have a process set up properly, and that member comes through, and you're engaging that member into group fitness and into the community, into the programs going in the club, you don't really need to spend X amount of dollars on a membership consultant who is just there to retain or try and get those members in. If group fitness is working properly, group fitness retains those members for you, because as you said, members that come and train more often with groups of people will stay longer than those that have just come into a gym and are left on their own devices to do whatever they want.
That's it. And not even that. Look, from a personal training perspective, like whenever I train a client, I'd like to give them like a weekly exercise plan where I will always make sure, depending on how many PTs they're doing, I'm like, look, now it's imperative that you come in and either do a body balance class or a yoga class or a Pilates class, something so that your week is balanced. Let's not do 2 PTs a week and then nothing. Right? Let's make sure you come in and do a RPM class or a spin class, or, you know, so that it's all balanced. So, and those people, now I always tell my team, let's keep the members we've got. That way we don't have to go chasing more people.
100%. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. I just wish more and more clubs would get on board with that. You know, that they if they focus as much attention on getting new members as they did retaining their members, you're not going to have an issue. Those members that are in there and happy.
I'll be honest with you. Since COVID, since last year, sales have just gone down the drain, right? In the past, selling 100 memberships in January was actually frowned upon. Like, I'd be like, why aren't we sitting on 100? Why didn't we end the month on 120? Right? Now, I think this January, I'll give you figures. Like, I think we only sold about 65 or 70 memberships, right? Having said that, we still grew.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't need to go out there and get 120 memberships every month. Because it's hard work.
Definitely. 100%. It's harder to actually get a new member than it is to keep a member.
Yeah, it's much easier to keep the current member base happy.
Yeah. The easiest thing to do to keep or retain a member is give them more of what they want. If they're happy, they're going to keep going. If they're not happy and they come and they tell you why they're not happy, you think about it, you take it on board and you go, okay, what can we do? Now, if one member comes to tell you they're not happy, you try and deal with it, but you don't go changing everything that's going on just to address one member. If there's a whole group of members saying the same thing, then there's something in the foundations that aren't right, that aren't sitting correctly, and then you can
Yeah.
go on and look at what you need to do to implement. But if you've
Yeah.
got those members in there, they're going to hang around. If what you're offering them is correct and is meeting their needs,
Yep.
they're not going to
Look,
look
with
at
me, it's quite simple. If it's a recurring theme in a given month that I've
Yep.
had 10 members and they pretty much, and let's say we've had 20 complaints and 10 of them was about the same thing,
Yep.
that needs to be changed up right there and then. Enough
Yep.
is enough. That needs to be changed up. And
Yep.
that's like, I in the past, when I was a new club owner, I would get every complaint was I'd take too hard and I tried to action.
Yep.
But now you know that obviously in a club that's over 1,000 members, you can't keep everyone happy, right?
Yes.
However, having said that, when there is enough people that are wanting the same thing, then that's a gap in your service that you really need to consider.
Yes.
And, you know, sometimes it is unrealistic, like RPM, for example, my club. Oh my God, people love RPM, right?
Yep.
It came to a point where not that long ago where just the instructor availability, we could have only 2 RPM classes in the evening, right?
Yes.
And obviously there was so many, we were overwhelmed with more evening classes. And it was a matter of, look, and that's when we decided to bring in virtual RPM and sprint.
Yep.
Like, I can't find instructors, no worries. Give us some time to get this sorted, because we always had plans, but you know, like the TV was on back order and there was a few things. So we were sort of not pushing it hard. But when that happened, maybe about 6 weeks ago, it's getting installed tomorrow. The TV is getting installed tomorrow. So yeah, it's like, you know what, let's just get this done, because members can wait. If you tell them you've listened, you've heard them, you're doing something about it, they will wait.
Yep.
But you need to.
All they really need is that acknowledgement. And as you said, yes,
exactly,
communication to them to say, hey guys, we've heard what you're saying. We're actually trying to do something about it. And especially in a smaller area of instructor availability or instructors that are in the pool to be able to teach, that is always going to be that challenge. But to find that person and be able to recruit them, or find an instructor that is looking for work as well. But as long as your members are aware, hey, we're onto this, we're going to do something, they're going to be happy. You know, and by you guys adjusting to that as well and putting in the virtual offering, I think is perfect, because you're giving your members still what they're after. Yes, it might not be the exact experience of having a live instructor with them, but if they know that that's what you're working to, they'll be fine. And
that's it. Look, like you were heavily involved when we brought in virtual in the club, weren't you? And my live instructors
in the beginning,
in Gungahlin, and my live instructors, I don't know if you remember, they all almost went on a strike, because I remember we were, I think it was us, Next Gen, and Tuggeranong, I think one of the first clubs, like one of the first waves of clubs that did it. So it was such a new concept back then that all my instructors, they're like, oh my God,
instructors were threatened.
Get sacked. This is it. And from the very beginning, it was always communicated that the intention is not to sack you. The intention is to never ever having to cancel a class
100%.
if you're tied up somewhere, and B, members, shift workers that are only available during lunchtime can still now come in and do a pump should they wish to.
No, I remember those days. That was back at Les Mills days when it first came out. I suppose when I was traveling around with, I think it was probably Western Australia at that stage. I remember so many clubs saying to me, hey, Tony, you know, what is this? You're just trying to get rid of us instructors. Les Mills just trying to cut out the middle. It's like, hang on a second, what? No, you know, they were, and you know, I think instructors got threatened by the fact that, well, who was going to be on those DVDs were the presenters and master trainers of those programs. So a lot of those instructors were like, oh, well, they're going to see them and not want to come to my class. But hang on a second. Think about it. Think about when someone comes to the gym and they come to a class, why do they come? Because there's other people around and there's someone directly in front of them, a human that's in front of them that they can engage with. You nailed it as well when you said those that are shift workers that want to come in. If you didn't have a class on, what do we offer them? Nothing.
That's it.
We offer them something. We put the virtual offering on, and they can be part of it. They're still then getting that quality or that value for their membership that they can still do a class.
Look, because we launched virtual in 2017. In 2016, because I only bought the club in 2016, that whole year we had to turn away so many people going, oh, look, I can only come in during lunchtime and you guys don't have any lunchtime classes, so I'm going to go somewhere else, right? We have not turned anyone away since that. First up. And it's an honest conversation about, look, not many instructors have a day job as well.
Yes.
You won't get lunchtime classes, so this is the best you can get. So let's just get you in and see how you go, right? I actually have members, this is funny, they prefer, especially body balance, because I know the body balance classes, the virtual classes, are a lot more faster, because obviously there are no stops, like they don't stop, they just go bang, 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 bang. So my more advanced body balance ladies, they love virtual balance. Because they don't have to stop. When couple of years ago, when Fitness on Demand, I think they had a system crash and they were out for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I actually had cancellations because of that. Believe it or not. And I was asked, what are you doing to compensate for it? And it was like, no, virtual is a compensation for nothing. You don't get compensation for nothing.
No, look, but I completely understand from a member's side. Well, hang on a second. This is what I've joined and this is what I'm doing. But now it's not on. So what are you going to compensate my membership for that? It's like, well, no, hang on a second. You haven't just joined the gym for that. That's not what our gym just isn't virtual. Our gym is X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, and the list goes on. But those members that come in just see it as, how dare you take away my only thing that I'm doing.
That's it.
I don't care that it's not even your fault. Why isn't it here?
But I actually was so happy when I got that couple of people, like the ones that cancelled. I think they were just looking for any reason to be cancelled. That, don't get me wrong. 100%. But the ones that were genuinely upset, I was actually so happy, because I hear all the time, when we go to this conference, virtual just never took off in our club, and I'm getting members upset because I don't have it. And okay, fine then. And we actually then, the 3 weeks that they were down, we actually started putting on circuits and other things that they could do. And because they missed the group of people, and that's what I mean by community. Like if like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna see my 12 o'clock friend that I catch up with every Wednesday and we go to lunch after. So and and one member came in one day and she's like, I am so upset because Wednesday afternoon I had a particular receptionist, and she's like, it feels like I haven't seen you in forever. I am so happy to see you. And this is like, that's what I mean by members. They genuinely come in. It's so much more than just the physical side of things in Fernwood. It's like they've got this mental that they are happy when they come in and they know this is a second home.
I think that touch point at reception is so vital to a member. When that person walks in, to when your member walks in, to have that person at reception smile, acknowledge who they are, say hello, have a quick chat, and even on their way out, how was your workout? Cool, great. When am I going to see you next? And it's just that open conversation. It's not like they're trying to book them into something else, but it's having that conversation that makes that person feel, what? Yes, I'm a member here, but I'm more than a member. I'm actually part of the team. I'm part of the crew that's here. And I love coming to this place. I'm going to keep coming.
And look, over the years, there has been talks about, every time in a conference when we're talking about cutting costs and whatnot. But I think that's hats off to Di Williams, our managing director. She's always said, no, the members, because we've talked about, okay, what if we have a card swiper and people just swipe in as they come and then the receptionist can walk around or whatever. But she's adamant, 100% adamant on, no, there needs to be a receptionist during staffed hours who will swipe them in, who will give them a locker, ask for if they want a locker key, and who will, on their way out, smile and say, when are you back? When am I seeing you next? So Di has always been like a stickler for it. And I think we actually get, every year when we have our audits, we actually get audited on that as well, I think. But, and that's just customer service for you. And you can't, there is nothing, you cannot compete with customer service.
You look at some of the other big box gyms that are out there that aren't 24/7, or if they've gone 24/7, they still have a reception area. But those that have actually gone to card, swipe entry, and there's no person to contact there. In most cases, if there's someone that actually requires or needs that interaction with someone, they cancel their membership pretty damn quick because they haven't had that experience with someone. But yet when you have that experience in a gym where someone is at reception saying hello and saying and greeting them, they hang around. It's that touch point that is so vital to the onboarding process in a club.
That's it. That's exactly right. And, like I've got some lovely younger members and, some of them has got disabilities. And when these girls come in, every single time, how are you going today? Would you like a locker? Enjoy
Yep.
your workout.
Yep.
And, these girls, I've got this one particular member. She's been a member there for as long as I've been with Fernwood Gungahlin, right?
Wow. Yep.
And she comes in with her carer
Yep.
4 days a week, and every single receptionist will greet her with the biggest smile and wait for her to fiddle around, find her card, give it to us. And, now we've moved on to access passes. So, like coming, and even though now we've moved on to everyone gets a fob, but even as they're tapping, that there is that eye connection, there is that smile, there is that conversation, even now. Like we don't actually take the card now, and since COVID, but they're tapping in and we're still engaging them.
Yes.
And that is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's great. You mentioned before about members cancelling when the system went down a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you nailed it when you said they cancelled and they were looking for a reason to cancel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was just their excuse, and that will always happen no matter what you do. You can be ticking every box and doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to be, because we don't know what's going on at home, we don't know what's going on outside of the gym in their lives. That could just be that one thing they're looking for to go, right, that's it, I'm cancelling this, I'm out of here. No, that was rah. They'll go and have a whinge. It's not the real reason that they're cancelling. They just, that was their excuse, or that was their reason. They've gone, yeah, cool, I'm out, I'm going to go do something else, because it's hard for someone to cancel something.
That's it.
There's emotion involved in
it. They need a reason to be worked up. Look, I actually spend a lot of my time with my managers, and especially the one that is in charge of cancellation. Over the years, whoever's doing cancellations, I spend many hours with just talking about things. And if these girls are frustrated and need to vent, my door is always open. And it could be about anything, because these girls are the ones on the front line popping it.
Yes.
But the one thing I always tell them, that please don't take it personally. You need to understand, especially in a women's only gym where we're dealing with women, and we go through our emotional phase every month, or for whatever. But when they look at their gym as their safe place.
Yes.
When you're upset, who do you take your anger out on? Your partner.
Yeah.
Because that's a safe place, right?
Yes.
Your mum, your dad, because that's a safe place. So you are the safe place. Just because they've vented at you doesn't mean it's you. It could be something, right?
Yep.
And you don't know if she sat in a car for 20 minutes before she's come in having a major anxiety attack because she knew she was, you don't know. So don't take it personally. All we can do is we're here to serve. We do the best we can. Sometimes we'll fall short. That's fine. But most times we will resolve it. That sometimes is fine too. So because when you're dealing with one after another, one of my managers came in the other day and she just burst into tears. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've had 3 phone calls today. I'm like, that's okay. That's okay. Let's talk about this. So and that's it. It's human nature, right?
Look, I think it's testament to you as a manager that actually has an open door and can listen to them. And in some cases, it's, you might not even have words of wisdom to say, but just being there and letting them vent is sometimes even more than enough, because they just need to get it off their chest. Someone's dumped on them big time and they're like, oh, they need to walk in and just be able to go, Jessie, I need to get this, blah, 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 blah. Thanks, Jess.
Yep.
And then they walk away.
You nailed it.
Hey, how is group fitness attendance in your club? Now that COVID's back and we're in the club, you said you're still increasing membership base as you go along. How is group fitness attendance?
It's actually better than what it was before COVID. To be honest, a normal, you're obviously, there are classes, and you taught me all this. There is the program and the time and the instructor kind of situation. But when all those 3 factors marry, we have full classes, 30 people with 10 on the wait list.
Brilliant. Do they all?
Because that's our capacity.
Do they need to book into a class these days?
Yes, they do.
They
Only
do?
because we still have that 2 square meter per
The
person
restrictions.
rule
Yep.
in place.
Yep.
And as long as we have that, we need to have, because if we got audited, like we need to show that this room has a capacity of 30 and that's your 30 people in there.
Yeah.
So we still need to have those posters visible with the capacity. So, and we, like being in Canberra, the central, the Fed, the government central, we'll get a visit from the health department, Access Canberra, once, anytime, unannounced, announced. If they have a female, it'll be unannounced. If they have a male, they'll give us 10 minutes notice. So but it's beautiful that, like most classes, when those 3 factors align, it's 30 with waitlist. The lowest we look at is about, if it's 12 to 13, we're like, oh, okay, that class is a bit problematic. We need to do something about it. But, before COVID, there were classes that were getting 6 people. Right? That's for my club. Canberra City needs a lot of work because I just don't feel like they've got the right classes at the right time. And thank you so much for teaching me everything I know about group fit. That GFI, the GFI seminar that I went to was probably the best thing I could have done. And like just having the ability to sit down with the managers and having that input. And, back then I used to tell you I would not know what to do if I didn't have a GFM. But now I feel like if I didn't, I could do it. That's like, that's not a problem anymore. And
I think as a club owner, manager, you need to have an understanding on that department no matter what.
Absolutely.
But you need to have
so
someone
crucial.
that manages it for you so that you don't, you've got everything else in the club going on as well. You're at the top level. That's why you have managers in each of the departments looking after that stuff. As long as the person you have in there understands and you have a great relationship with them, they understand what the goal is and where you're headed, then it's an easy role if you've got the right person in there doing it. Hey, Jessie, thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for having a chat. And
look, I wasn't like as soon as you said, do you want to? I'm like, it's always great having a chat with you. Yeah, sure. And if it's a chat, go for it.
Hey, and one last thing. Good luck with the second gym, the one in Fernwood, Canberra City. Well, that's it for this chat. I hope you got something out of it and liked what you heard. If you'd like to get in touch, head on over to the website groupex.com.au or throw us a like on Facebook at GROUPEX. May we meet again.